Nemu. Damn, Kubo. He was like, you motherfuckers want death? You want some action? You want some excitement? Alright, I'm gonna blow this bitch up into a million fucking pieces. Like, this chapter, I was like, I been saying for weeks and weeks and probably even months now, somebody's gonna die, and it started to look like it was gonna be Nemu, and it ultimately was. But Kubo, were you like upset? Did you like get stood up for a date or something, bro? Like, you fucking made the bitch blow the fuck up. Like, yikes. One thing I gotta note about this chapter is the person that was in his mind, you know, speaking to Mayuri as far as like him being a scientist and everything, was, if I'm correct, that's Xylopodon Grant. I don't fucking remember how to say that dude's name, but I think one of the only reasons why he's the one that showed up out of everybody, when granted he was one of the top people that they fought or whatever, but I think the reason why he showed up simply is because, like, as far as the readers go, we never really had any people around that was like something really big to Mayuri other than him, because it just kind of felt a little bit random that it was him that showed up out of all people. But I think it was just, again, for the reader's sake, so we could say, hey, that was him, and that's the only people that we can really identify that's been around Mayuri that can be on that level, although Mayuri looks down on him like if he's a pebble and a bitch. And yet again, just seeing that character development for Mayuri, even though it's in his weird way of like, that's my perfect creation that I just lost, ultimately when him saying like, I want to laugh and cry at the same time, I don't know, it showcases that Mayuri has grown. And I don't know when he grabbed the brain, if that was just, you know, I think it was a mix of column A and column B. I think one half it was that he could possibly preserve the brain, either so that he could still have a piece of her, or eventually try to use the science to bring her back, or create another Nemu, which I don't put it past him because he's sick in the head. He would still try to make another one. But I think it's also because, you know, at the end of the day, it did help to make the hand, you know, start self-destructing because of the regenerative cells, as it doesn't have the brain. It was a little bit complex, to be honest with you, like all that scientific shit, but basically it was like, I'm taking this brain, you die, motherfucker. And yeah, honestly, it was just a crazy chapter. I think, again, a lot of the whole, you know, crossover with, you know, Mayuri and Xylopodos coming back and whatnot, it's kind of himself looking down, and I guess in a weird way, even though, yeah, it probably is so that the audience can identify with somebody that we know that's been around Mayuri. Also, it's like, Mayuri at that particular point is feeling so down on himself. He's like, oh god, I'm just shit. And a scientist that he looked down on is talking to him and looking down on him. So I think that was, in a weird way, the way Mayuri's mind works. So it would be a fucking person that he looks down on to come and say like, oh man, you fucked up, what happened to the great Mayuri, shit like that. So I guess it kind of worked in that aspect as well. But yeah, I mean, 2 down in 1 fucking chapter. Honestly, a very good chapter. I mean, we got the death of Nemu, which she went out like a fucking boss, and I do think, which would kind of be unfortunate in a weird way, but I do think Nemu might come back simply because he has the brain. Maybe he'll try to reclone her with her memories, something like that. But we also got seemingly the death of the left arm of the Soul King, or the destruction, the defeat, whatever the case may be, because he was about to explode. And at the same time, I think just it showcased Mayuri's growth. Like when he was just like, you're not getting this shit, and you see all the electricity thing paralyzing the arm and everything, it was just like, that was his way of showing that he's pissed off that he lost his daughter, his creation. So a solid 8 out of 10 for this one. Very good stuff. Again, a little random that it was that motherfucker that showed up, but ultimately that was just to give a retrospect of who Mayuri is right now and what he thought he had. But let me know what you guys thought of this one. How did you feel about Nemu's death? Like, I never really was a big fan of Nemu or anything. I really wasn't close with the character. I didn't really have too much invested emotionally for her. But it still fucking sucks. And I mean, at the end of the day, she did go out like a beast, you know, trying her very damnedest to protect who she felt was her father. And also the destruction of the left arm of the Soul King. Crazy shit. End of the fight. Honestly, it was a very good end. I mean, granted, it's not the biggest and most popular character, Nemu, but it still was a defeat nonetheless. And that's how I pretty much expected it to go. It wasn't surprising in that aspect. So yeah, it didn't have much suspense to it. But I think the biggest thing, again, out of all of this is Mayuri's growth and him having some sort of weird feelings. And your overall thoughts of the chapter. Just how did you feel about everything that went down in this one? I mean, this battle was very fucking long, to be honest with you. A couple months long. But we finally got a winner. And it's Mayuri. But it's a Pyrrhic victory at the same time because he defeated his opponent but lost something very great to him, which was his creation and what he considered his daughter. That's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, if you could do so as well, that'd be amazing. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.